What's up? How is everybody? How are you? I am well. Thanks for asking. Ready for a rock and roll and rip roaring Thursday night here. Um, on the SWEATBOX. I'm pretty excited. I got most of my stuff on the back end about done. About ready to tell the whole world about this thing. Um, so we'll see how it goes. Cautiously optimistic here. Pittsburgh on the move, big play, DK Metcalf from Rodgers. Certainly keep an eye on that one. They got the ball first against the Bengals. Actually, a whiteout for the Bengals at home. It was just a go route, single coverage, and Rodgers dropped it right in. Yeah, had the safety looked off and no help. Crazy. Okay, so the Bengals kicked in that game. Pittsburgh closed basically a 5-point favorite. 44.5, 45 the total. First half price, Pittsburgh was 3 the dog, 20, 22.5, give or take. The total, most of the sharp money was on the Bengals in this game. Other activity tonight that will draw interest. East Carolina, Tulsa. That game is in Greenville. East Carolina 3-3, Tulsa 2-4. East Carolina 1-1 in the league. Tulsa 0-3. They do have one non-conference game left the rest of the way. I show 3:07 to go before halftime on my TV, but my scores feed shows 2:44 and a Tulsa touchdown. So looks like the Hurricane have scored. That game closed 16-16.5. Total of 55. I made the game 18. No strong opinion. Circa opened at 16.54.5. First half line 9.5, 27.5. Give or take. Well, that game's in the first quarter still. So, okay, yeah, 10-7 first quarter, 2:44 left. Steelers on the move at the 14 of Cincinnati. One thing I like that Amazon Prime has been doing, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they're doing a hell of a job of getting yeah, no mic house. It looks like it's okay, but anyways, let's confirm that. Yeah, they have these little red circles on top of guys, and those are either blitzers or they've identified them as guys that are coming from outside the box to be in the box. I actually like that. It's someone who's watching the game without volume. I can see, like, from right now, it's Pittsburgh's right, Cincinnati's left. They got a guy that looks like he's going to come here. Doesn't always get it right. This is a throw to the end zone for Hayward. It's incomplete. I thought they had a touchdown, but no. Hayward lined up as the fullback on that play. That ball's got to be caught. Rodgers still throws a hell of a ball. You can say what you want to, but he still can hum it right in there with the best of them. 7 plays, 72 yards, 244 for Tulsa on their touchdown drive. 244 to go in the first. East Carolina 10, Tulsa 7. Rodgers buys time, or a 3-man rush. Still has all day. No one is anywhere. Fires it across the end zone, touchdown. That's Smith. He literally had 6 seconds to run that play. That took all of 4 minutes. Pittsburgh in. Point pending on the first drive. They've already made it. 10:51 to go in the first. Pittsburgh 7, Bengals nothing. Gun to my head in this game. I did like the Bengals some. I was a little bit concerned about the piling in from people that may or may not have a chance to win in the long run. That was literally the longest. I mean, they rushing 3 is not the answer. Dodgers and Milwaukee go to the bottom of the 7th. Stretch time in LA, 3-1 Dodgers. The late game is going to start in Seattle in about 15 minutes. Scherzer at Castillo. This game took a big move on on Toronto earlier, and then they bet it back up, and it's been all Seattle here at the end. Castillo's been great in the postseason and lately against Toronto. The Blue Jays have not lost this season in 4 games, 3 during the regular season and 1 in the playoffs against Seattle. Live price is somewhere between 25 and 30, give or take. And there's a couple places that are that are in different states. That a 20-cent line have like 30 or 35. That's a little high. Most of the comebacks are somewhere around +1. Hang on, I'm looking at the first half on that. Yeah, but most of the stuff is like +127. I'm sorry, yeah, +125 to +127. Big difference between Circa and Superbook. You got Superbooks up as low as 125. Circa's +119 on the comeback. Bet War Offshore also +119. You can lay 124 at Pinnacle. So there is some difference here between both offshore and in town, between both markets. Some favoring Toronto, some favoring Seattle. I made this game a little lower, closer to 20 cents. Would have preferred a bet on Toronto like +130, but nothing worse than that. And I made the total just a smidge higher, but not a lot. So we'll see. I'll go ahead and take this one, as I don't have a whole lot going on yet. The next door neighbor to my dad's a disgruntled Bengals fan. I let him rant for a little bit, and I told him, "Dad, just get on the stream if you got something to say. You can listen to me talk and yell and scream myself." I did think the Bengals is a favorite to score on this drive, but I also said they're not a favorite to score a touchdown. So I'll look really smart if they get a field goal out of this. Higgins over the middle on a little quick slant, first down. Bengals. They moved the sticks 9 minutes ago in the first there. Looks like Banda's up for the Dodgers in the bullpen, bottom 7. He'll probably get at least a first crack at the 8th, I guess, based on Milwaukee's offense. I'm a little behind on what's happening there. I'm still kind of paying attention a little bit to both football games as we're in the first half. They're far more important than the baseball focus, I guess is the right way to say it. The baseball games are on, but I'm not like balls deep in the focus on them, just because once they go, they're gone. And there's not really much I can tell you to help with end game, whereas the whole focus on these things is to try to get people interested and involved with potential live opportunities or halftime opportunities with the Foots. So hence, that's where the focus is at this point. 8:21 to go. First quarter, Bengals gained 4 on first down with Brown at the 45. Flacco takes it, gun empty, backfield, fires it. Single coverage toward Higgins over his head. The safety was coming late. Probably did it on purpose as an incompletion. It'll be 3rd and a long 5. We are nearing first pitch in Seattle, probably 5 minutes away there. Scherzer trying to get Toronto back in the series. They trail 2-1. If they can break serve again, they will be back in the series after a big win last night following 2 losses at home. Castillo laying anywhere between 23 and 30. Come back between 14 and 18 on Toronto. Pretty tight game, obviously, as you'd expect in an NFL playoff game. Dumped off by Flacco. That's over the middle to Chase. He gets about 2, a little bit 4th and 3, and I would expect they'll go. No, looks like Flacco's walking off. Trips left there, some sort of a bunch. That's way too easy. The safety for Pittsburgh was able to get through all the traffic. Nothing really doing there, and they're going to punt it. It's 4th and a long 3. Midway through the first, the Steelers will get it back, barring some shenanigans. The punt is about 38 yards, returned about 9. They'll start at the 27, 7:25 to go in the first. Live price is coming shortly. East Carolina has chimed in following Tulsa's touchdown with one of their own. That game is near or at the end of the first quarter now. East Carolina's touchdown, 9 plays, 75 yards, 2:47 off the clock. That's Marlon Gunn running it in. They lead at 17-7 over Tulsa. That game, the second quarter just started. East Carolina's had 3 drives, field goal, punt, touchdown, touchdown. Tulsa 3 punts and a touchdown. We'll keep you abreast on the activities there. Live price 22.5, 22, 21.5. Total somewhere around the 65.5 range. East Carolina up 17-7. Pittsburgh receives it after the punt from the Bengals. They lead 7-0. Each team's had the ball once. 7.5 to go in the first. Steelers now 10. There is some 10 minus money. Total 48 under money out there. I wouldn't say enough to be confident on the Bengals yet. Obviously, the first drive, they had their chances to get off the field. 3rd and long, didn't send anybody, and then 3rd and goal at the 6, and they only sent 3. I'm not so sure how you're going to have success. I mean, that play had so much time that Rodgers, even at age 41 or whatever, could have ran that thing in from the 6 or 8 or 10-yard line. Just fascinating thought process by the Cincinnati defense to be willing to send everybody back in coverage that close to the goal line. I would reckon that won't happen again, but who am I to speak for that defense? Al Golden has not been anywhere near as successful with Cincinnati's players this year as he was Notre Dame's last year, although you could argue he had better players last year. Okay, let's see what else has happened here. Dodgers and Milwaukee, that game is now through 7 innings. Koenig gets out of it for Milwaukee, gets Ohtani to end the 7th. Nothing doing for the Dodgers there. They lead at 3-1. Looks like Banda's going to have the 8th. Milwaukee 6 outs away from falling behind 3-0. Haven't really netted much on offense. I think it's a total of 3 runs in 25 innings against mostly Dodger starters that have outmatched them. All right, Rogers back out for the next drive. Again, 7:25 to go in the first. They'll start it from their own from their own 26. I'm a fan of what Amazon does with these red circles around the guys that they identify as possible blitzers. They don't always get it right, but it keeps you someone to keep an eye on. Big chunk play there on first down, a little power play to the right. Toss play to the right for about 12. Metcalf ran it out and up, and the corner just bit, but what a throw. It's one thing that he does is good, or he's always done better than anybody, and that's throw a football. Quite convinced there was so much malpractice in Green Bay, he could have easily won like 4 Super Bowls up there. And this guy leaves the Cowboys, and now all of a sudden the Cowboys score against everybody every week. And then they're going to talk about this McCarthy getting the coach again next year. Yeah, good luck to whoever who signs up for that. Clowns. I'm working with a significant delay on the East Carolina-Tulsa game, so I'm kind of keeping more of an eye on the box score and the scoreboard with the time than I am the actual television there. The football game, the NFL game, I got a pretty good feel for it. Talked to a friend, my Amazon Prime feed's a good one. Here's another flea flicker. Rogers, he immediately saw that there was nothing there. Threw it at Washington's feet. 3rd and 4. Castillo toes the rubber for Seattle. That one's about to get underway. I've got an okay feed there. I've got the Toronto feed on Sportsnet. That's only a minor delay. Not as good as if I were watching it on Big Fox, but Big Fox isn't showing the baseball tonight. It's on FS1 in the States. I can give you updates on TV stuff. You can still watch me while you have an eye on TVs. Listen to me at the very least. The Dodger game for me is on Unimos and on it's on True TV and TBS as well for Dodgers Milwaukee. Amazon Prime for Pittsburgh Bengals. Rogers fakes at the back, throws it long. It's over the head of everybody. Incomplete. Good coverage by the Bengals this time. Smith was the intended receiver. Steelers will have to punt for 1 first down. Tulsa, East Carolina, ESPN, and Seattle, and hosting Toronto again for Americans. That game is on FS1. If you're like me and you like listening to Buck Martinez, and nothing against Joe Davis and Smoltz, by the way, and they're the World Series on Big Fox, I'll watch that. But I like Buck Martinez and Dan Schulman. That's the Toronto announcers on SN. Steelers punt it from their own 43. Caught at the 17, a fair catch, 40 yards, no return. 5:58 left for the Bengals. They'll take over. After the punt, Pittsburgh live price coming. Underway already. In 4 pitches in, Castillo has retired 2 Blue Jays in quick succession. Banda trying to make quick work of Milwaukee here in the top of the 8th at Dodger Stadium as well. Live price in Cincinnati. Steelers are laying 8, give or take. Total, so it's as high as 9.5. That seems absurd to me. I like the Bengals at that number, actually. 46 flat, the total, give or take. Yeah, I do like Cincinnati at that price. Anything more than 8's too high. Per True Media and Next Gen, Rodgers had 8.598 seconds to throw on the TV to Smith. I can't recall anybody ever having that much time. I'm trying to think at any point during a game at the goal line when it's goal to go. 8.59 seconds? Vladdy looks like he got nipped at the wire at first. Inning over for the Jays. Live price, Seattle up to $1.50, some 55.60 out there. Total 7 under. There's also 6.5 over 35 in that baseball game. Dodgers have gotten through the Milwaukee top of the order with Banda. Not much of a sweat. They're now, I can't, the money line price is closer to 40 to 1 than anything else. You can't even bother with it. Total 4.5, under 52. Any more runs there would put the game over. Chase on first down gets about 8 as the Bengals begin their second drive of the evening. We got some cheating on the Steelers here. Incomplete pass, but some cheating. Bengals will have an automatic first down at the 5:12 mark. 24, you cheated. I don't like that. I feel like the receivers already have every break in the book. The defensive backs can't touch them. And that's the right call by the letter of the law. I just don't like the law. Bengals out to the 39, first down. Play fake. Dumps it over the middle. Not a good pass by Flacco. It's over everybody's head. Incomplete. You really got to take advantage if you're Cincinnati in those spots where you're running play fakes and you have these boxes where you appear to be in a run formation. He didn't sell the fake. He didn't throw a good pass. You're not going to probably run the ball very well against Pittsburgh anyways. Their run defense has been pretty good. So anytime you blow a chance at a play fake like that, that's like a lost opportunity. This time they'll run a draw. This is P. Ryan for about 5. 5 minutes to go in the quarter. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Clock moving. 3rd and 5. Bengals gun. Back offset to the right. 2 receivers each way. Motion left now. Flacco back, looking back to the middle of the field, and it's thrown to his tight end for a completion and a first down. Fant, who most of the prop guys that I talked to or have talked to some in the past about this were pretty adamant about Fant getting all kinds of looks tonight with Gesicki not playing and Pittsburgh's defense is being almost apathetic towards the tight end. And that's a good little out and in route. At the 48 of Pittsburgh, they move the sticks, clock moving inside of 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Gun, back offset left, play fake. They got a blitzer. They had to throw it to the back. Ah, damn it. Brown, after the fake, got it. Couldn't hang on to it. It was a great read by Flacco. He threw it right into the blitz. Oh, man, they blitzed them both. He's running forever if he catches that. Tulsa 7 plays, 78 yards, and they score again against East Carolina. And this game is quickly turning into a track meet in Greenville. 3:01 off the clock on that drive. 10:50 to go before the half. East Carolina 17-14 over Tulsa in a game that now it looks like both teams are fully in gear on offense. I've got to figure out what to do with this this TV situation. I've raised this camera angle up to where I'm showing myself with a little bit of a higher angle than it was earlier. It's made the bottom middle TV to where I can hardly see the bottom part of it. So, of course, the score box for SN is at the bottom of it. I need to look, almost squint to see how small it is, and then dodge the camera. 1 out, nobody on for Seattle in the bottom of the first. Scherzer facing Cal Raleigh. He's running full. Third down, we're going to have a false start on 71, the right tackle for Cincinnati. So 3rd and 11. Clock moving inside of 3 minutes when the ball gets snapped here. Back at midfield. Yeah, now you're in it. Nope, didn't catch it. Quick slant to, who's at the backup tight end, Yoshivash. He had a career game 2 weeks ago, and then last week he didn't have anything. It's got to be caught. That's right there on him. A little bit ahead of him, but on purpose with the defense behind him to catch it and go. So they'll have to punt. 2:52 to go left in the first. And after a promising start, and maybe another yard, another play or two to get in the field goal range, it doesn't happen. Punts back to the 11. I guess he called for a fair catch because he gets whacked into and they throw a flag. So the net's going to only end up being 24 out of a 39 going in. Not smart. 2:45 to go. First quarter. Pittsburgh will have it. At the 26. Maybe the 27. People on Twitter seem a little disturbed by the Bengals defense, or by the receivers. Outside of his best receivers, nobody can catch. Bengals show promise on the drive. Dropped by Chase Brown. False start by Amaris Mims. Dropped by Andre Evshovas. Fair catch interference. Bad team bingo. He's right. That was that drive. Hauser hits Anthony Smith. What a monster that guy is for East Carolina. 63-yard touchdown. 7 plays, 84 yards, 2:13 off the clock. Mazzy's kick is good. East Kakalaka 24-14 over Tulsa. We're going to get a total that starts getting towards the 80s in this game if this happens much longer. Not nearly as much fun as last night's game that did get into the 100s and went over every number that was live. 63-40. No, not all of them. 63-42, I think, was the, or no, 63-36 maybe. Over a lot of them, not all of them. 24-14 East Carolina, 19.5, 20-point favorite, total 75.5 flat. Let's see. Pittsburgh now laying 9.5. There is a 10 out there after they get the ball following the punt. 43 and 44 are the most popular numbers. Don't see any 43.5 without juice. Scherzer's worked himself in a bit of a mess here. Polanco up with first and second, 1 out. And the Dodgers have 1 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. They lead at 3-1 against Milwaukee. Oh, they got an Al Michaels sighting at Riverfront Stadium. Oh, the double play. Scherzer's he one of the funniest pitchers of all time when it comes to getting searched for the sicky stuff. He's actually taking his pants down and his belt off in the middle of the field before. uh, First play is thrown behind the line of scrimmage and caught for a gain of about 4 to Wilson. Toronto out of the first, live price there. Seattle 25 to 30, total 6.5 flat. Makes sense, no disagreement at all. Baseball, everything's automated. And there's so many games, and I've done the work for so long that I like pretty much anytime I have a differing opinion on the baseball line, then I'm seeing something that they don't, or that they're seeing something that I missed, because it's so self-explanatory. And like I've started that stuff like going back to 2010 or 11, and you're talking 2,430 games a year forever. And during 4 of those 6 months, there's nothing else going on. It's just baseball. So like almost all of May and June and July and August, there's nothing else going on. There's no football. There's no basketball. You just have to worry about the baseball prices. Toss sweep to the right, first down Pittsburgh, gain of about 10. This is Gainwell. Yeah, they're really trying to establish things on the left side there. The Steelers are. That's where all the beef is. But yeah, so the baseball live numbers, like I can sit there, and if you tell me what the pregame price is, and what the score is and what the inning is, like these algorithms have so much data to put into them, and so many games that they've worked off of over the years, that the numbers are just so hard to beat. Like in terms of what they're supposed to be, they're going to come up with a number that's right. They have too much of a sample size. It's not like in NBA or football, or especially football, where the sample size is much smaller and you can get it wrong, and the numbers can be wrong at the start of the year, like in college football with teams and all this transfer portal nonsense and everything. It could be totally wrong. Baseball, everything is very, very easy, cut and dry in Major League Baseball. I'm not talking about college. Everything's right to the point, cut and dry. You have a real good feeling real early for what these teams are. If you have an edge, you bet it pregame. You don't try to wait till live for the most part, unless you're seeing something pitching wise or park wise that matters, or if there's a start time with shadows. There are things that go into account. For the most part, you just try to take what you can edge wise pregame, knowing that the live line comes. It's going to be hard to find those edges. In a playoff baseball, like I say, there's just not much to it. I do know that one of my friends today liked under in the Dodger game, and it was helped by the fact that there was a couple of runs early for each team, and was able to get a better number live, and so he's sitting on an in-game price. It's actually similar to what the closing number was, 7.5, 8, but he just thought that hey, how can this game be higher than that? Given that the Dodger starters have been lights out to begin with, the Dodgers offense hasn't been great, and the game's starting at 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 Eastern, or was it 2 and 5? Yeah, 3 and 6. So like a 3 p.m. first pitch, just not ideal for any of that. So, anyways, that's where things stand. I'll get off my soapbox talking about baseball for the time being. Back to the NFL. We've reached the end of one in Cincinnati. The Steelers have 3rd and 4 at the Bengals 43 after a 6-yard gain there. Steelers up 7-0. They're laying 10, and the total is 42.5. Is the most consistent number that I see. No opinion on the total. The side, I still like Cincinnati a little bit. There is some 10.5 dog money out there. I just think it's going to be a case where the Bengals just need to get a score, get in the game, get the crowd into it a little bit. For being that Pittsburgh dominates all these other stadiums as much as they do, with all these fans wearing that stupid yellow and all those dumbass towels, you'll see that again in a few weeks when they play the Chargers in LA. That'll be a game where the Chargers are going to have to use a silent count at home. It's a joke. But not tonight. It's a whiteout for the Bengals. They're wearing white on white. The fans are mostly wearing white. And even with Pittsburgh being only about 3.5, 4 hours away. You know, it's not really a huge Steeler contingent at the stadium tonight. So Sasaki is pitching the ninth for the Dodgers. 5-6-7 for Milwaukee in the inning. Sasaki hums one in there at 100 when he's down 2-0 in the counts. Must be a nice leisure to have. Castillo only 15 pitches in so far. He's off to about as good of a start as you could hope. Just sets down Varsho. 16 pitches, 5 outs. No base runners for the Jays. "56 straight games with 7 or fewer points in the first quarter by Pittsburgh. And that ties for the most in any team in the history of the league. Is that true? That's like 3.5 years. That's pretty good. I mean, in this game, it's 7-0. It's kind of a weird game to bring that stat out. First down, they pound it right up the middle. Move the sticks quite easily, to be honest with you. They were kind of in between there with 4-down territory, maybe. They were probably going to go for it. Just so long as they didn't lose any yards. Although, hell, if that was the Eagles, they just would have ran the brotherly shove and the brotherly shove again. They'd have found a way to get 3.5, 4 yards out of that. Pittsburgh in big formation here. One back toss to Gainwell. Give him about 4 yards. Great play by the secondary or the safety to come in and knock him out. Knock him down for 4. First down Steelers inside the 30. Second and 70. Hits Smith, the tight end, for another 9-yard gain. Rodgers will take what you give him. Certainly that was a big formation jumbo with 2 tight ends to the right of the right tackle there. Rodgers does a good job of looking off the coverage again. Something that he's been as good as anybody at for 15 years, if not more. Sasaki strikes out Durbin. Game over. Dodgers win it. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for Milwaukee. They win and cover the run line at home, laying $1.60 or so. Total was 7.5 over, 8 flat, 8 under money. Dodgers win and it stays under. They lead the series against Milwaukee 3-0. They'll have a chance to close it out tomorrow. First down Steelers, and they move it again. Miller bangs it down for about 9 there. They're in the red zone. I think there was a false start. They didn't call it. 12 and some change to go, 2nd and 1 here. Warren gets it. Makes a couple guys miss. 1st down. He cuts it back to the right, and he's going to score. There is a flag, and it'll probably come back. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's hard to hide it when there's by himself like that. He cuts back, and the defensive lineman didn't have no chance because he's getting held. All right, so let's see if the Bengals can do something now that they got an artificial, well, I won't call it an artificial stop, but an officially enhanced stop. Rodgers back all day to throw. They only rushed 4. They no sniff again all day. Now he's going to run it, and he slides after a gain of about 5. So 2nd and 11 turns into 3rd and about 6. Yeah, the pass rushers just this is so bad. They got to do something to get some people out. No, not having Hendrickson makes such a big difference in this spot. I mean, these 4 guys don't have a chance against this offensive line. And the worst part is they're getting beat up on the other side too. I mean, you can like the Bengals as much as you want to, knowing that this is a great spot and this is their whole season, their Super Bowl, but they don't have the players that can do anything up front against this team. They're going to have a hard time winning. 3rd and 5, trips left, Steelers. Rodgers, they came at him this time. He finds a way out of it, buys more time, fires. It's caught short of the 1st down. Be a 4th and 1. They're almost for sure going to go for it. God, they actually sent people that time, and it still didn't work. Oh, we got a home run, Seattle. This is Naylor. They take a 1-0 lead over Toronto, bottom of the 2nd. This drive's now nearing 7 minutes in length at 11 plays. They'll go. Let's see what happens. Huge favorite to get it the way that they've been dominating up front. Oh, they're in the illegal play, but there's a false start. It's going to come back. There's so many guys in the box he couldn't give the number. That's the right call, 66 jumps. That's why that play, everybody talks about how automatic it is, and I'm so sick of hearing that. There's one team that it's automatic for. Everybody else, you have the right idea trying to run it, but guess what? It's easier said than done if you don't execute it properly, and there's just only one team that consistently does that. Boswell from 41, that's a layup. He probably closed his eyes when he kicked it. 10:26 to go in the first half. Steelers 10, Bengals nothing. It feels so much worse than that, but yet it's not yet. Live price coming shortly here. 2-minute warning. No, it's not. Fake news. The East Carolina-Tulsa game. Tulsa 2nd and 1 at their own 20. We got a timeout there? No, they're playing again. This is after Levy punted it to the Tulsa 11, and that's where they started. There is a review coming. Tulsa trails by 10 to East Carolina. Yeah, I'm sure the Dodgers are happy about things. It's not even dark in LA yet. They already have cashed their 3rd win in 3 games. Start time tomorrow for the baseball, just for those curious, because the their series are all 2-3-2. The Dodgers are the late game tomorrow night. So 6:08 Eastern, Gaussman at Miller in Seattle. It'll be 2-2 or 3-1. And Ohtani goes for the Dodgers. I have no clue for Milwaukee. I guess it's Quintana, Castillo, everybody. I mean, it's all hands on deck. Dodgers will be laying, I don't know, close to $2. That game starts at 8:38 Eastern, 5:38 Pacific. It's very similar to the start times for the same times as the start times for tonight or close to it. Just flipped. NL game first tonight. Tomorrow the AL game is first. Those games are on the same channels. By the way, the first game tomorrow between Toronto and Seattle is on SN, if you can get to it, with Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez in Canada, or FS1 in the States. It might be on Big Fox. No, Big Fox has college football tomorrow night. And then in the late game, the Dodgers will be on True TV or TBS, hosting Milwaukee, 8:38 Eastern, 5:38 Pacific. First pitch. Live price in Pittsburgh Cincinnati, 10-0 Steelers. 10.5 to go in the second quarter. Steelers are laying 10. There is a 10.5 out there as well. So I guess basically the expected points in the last drive by the live market last drive was 3, because it was the same price as before the last drive as it is now. The total is almost the same as well. 42.5 under money. There is a 41.5 out there and a 41 at Circa. So they and Buckeye both make the total a little bit lower. And some of the 42.5 money at Pinnacle is shaded a lot to the under. So there's where we stand there now as the kick is coming to the Bengals. 10:26 to go in the half. P. Ryan brings it out to the 28 where he gets banged, and that's where they'll start. Scherzer weaves his way through the second after the leadoff home run to Naylor, and the Seattle Mariners lead Toronto 1-0 after 2. Live price. Seattle is highest 240, comeback 195, as low as 190. Low as $2, comeback 165, 170. Big play by Brown, first down out past midfield. Steps out of bounds. That's their biggest play of the night, depending on where the spot is, and maybe he stepped out before that. Total on the baseball game in Seattle, 6.5 flat, give or take. There is a 6 flat at Pinnacle, which seems ridiculously low, with no shadows and all the runs that have been scored by the visiting team, especially in that series. Brown has 33 yards on 3 carries. He's off to a decent start. They ought to think about getting to him more, especially everybody's talking about how the Bengals couldn't run the ball. It looks to me like the offensive lines on both sides have at least had a chance. Since he took way too much time there, they're going to have to burn their first time out. 9:38 to go in the half. Bengals first out to Pittsburgh 46. It's actually their second time out. Fake news. What a stat that is. First QB to be traded mid-season inside the division in 74. Cowboys to Giants, Craig Morton. I actually thought that there was one. I could have swore there was one recently. Tomlin was bitching about it. That was pretty funny, actually. I thought he was taking shots. Well, he was taking shots at the Cleveland GM. Live price before they get going again here. Pittsburgh's down to 9. I actually think 7.5 is probably closer to the right. Total 42.5. All it takes a player or two, and everything changes. Flacco to Brown, that was either going to be one of two things. He makes the first guy miss and gets some yards, or he doesn't make Clark miss and loses about 6. Play took way too long to develop, and that's what happens. You lose 6. Second and 16, they're back on the wrong side of midfield again. Clock moving inside of 9 minutes. Flacco dumps it off to one of his tight ends. Gets all the yardage back from the failed swing pass. Be third and maybe 9. Not quite to field goal range yet. Curious to see whether they go for that or something else. trips right here with both tight ends and Higgins offset to the right. Chase by himself and Brown to the left. There are no backs. Flacco by himself in the gun. Fires it over the middle. That's complete. And that's Chase. And that's why when you pay two receivers the kind of money the Bengals did for those two guys, you do whatever you can to get them the rock. If you got to go 5 wide, fuck it, you go 5 wide. I mean, that's that. Give him a little bit of time and let him get it to these guys. First down Bengals to the Pittsburgh 38. This is about as far as they've gone, I think. Like a quick pass to Chase. He does catch it, and he makes a guy miss. Give him about 8. That could have turned into a disaster. Didn't. Could have. Second and 3 now. They'll call it for the 7-yard gain. Now we got the center for the Bengals missed the snap count, so they go back 5. Draw. Ryan bangs his way through. First down. Give him about 10. Nice work by the Cincinnati left side of the line that time. They're in the red zone now to the 19th. Under 6 minutes to go in the half. Pittsburgh sending some guys through the A gap. That's deflected, but still I think it was caught by Higgins. Now they're fighting over it. I don't know what they're going to do here. That is a catch. That's a great play. Seven-yard gain on it. What could have been nothing. Maybe should have been nothing. Brown bangs it through. Another first down. Bengals goal to go here. Very impressive drive. Yeah, this has been by far. They've been better on the ground tonight than the other team has. Ben has another home run for Toronto. That's his second in 2 nights. He was like 15-1 last night. I think he gets another one. And that's a 2-run shot in Toronto. It takes the lead in Seattle. Top 3. 364 feet. It needed all of them. First and goal at the 8. Play fake. Over the middle, complete. I think long enough. Chase, touchdown. If they let him call it, they say that he hung on to it for enough steps. I'm curious to see if they review this. He did 3 spin moves, and I'm not sure if he ever had the ball for any of it. Hang on. Yeah, that to me is not a catch. I don't think he ever had control of it. He does a good job of playing it off, but that's a drop. He got hit at the goal line and never held on. Let me see what they say on TV. Yeah, incomplete on the field. No argument. Yeah, I couldn't for even a second. All right, second and goal, 4:42 left. They're not going to take this one away. Should have. There was interference. Let's see if there's a flag. Hang on. Nope. Chase gets his touchdown, and so does Flacco. Ramsey. Wow. He starts first, and then Chase pushes him, and then they called it on Ramsey. I don't know about that. To me, that's just two monsters going at it. It's probably like a no call, but it is a call. 10-6 after the point or before the point pending at 4:38. Snap down up. Good. Right down the middle. Big monster drive for the Bengals there. Great answer. They cut the lead to 3 late in the first half. Live line coming. Tulsa, East Carolina. It's 24-14 still. East Carolina ball late in the first half. They do get a first down. Let's see if they try to do much. They have 2 timeouts left. Castillo's gotten himself into more of a mess here. Blue Jays' Kirk is at the plate now. He's 4 for 9 with the home run against Castillo. It's first and second with only 1 out here. Toronto a chance to do some serious damage and blow this thing wide open. Steelers laying 6. There is some 6.5 from places I respect. 44.5 is pretty much the painted total. Lean under, not confident enough to go either way. If you get 2 scores to end the half here for whatever reason, then all of a sudden over becomes a huge favorite. All right, looks like we're going to run into the half here. Not sure what's going on. Incomplete. Okay. So it's going to go to the half. 24-14. East Carolina leads. Pre-game price again was 16.54.5. Hang tight here with me. There is some 5.5 prices on the Steelers now. The 6.5 at Pinnacle still there. The 6 at Chris is still there, but the prices at a couple other offshores are 5.5, and it's now 5.5 in town. Circa has 5.5 minus 30, which I personally, if I was like Pittsburgh, I'd rather lay the 6 minus 05 than the 5.5 minus 30. Full count to Kirk. Oh, 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the outside corner. He smashed it, but it was a foul ball back. Those are the ones you just missed. The pitcher knows you just missed it, and you know you just missed it. and you foul it just straight back like that. Good sweat. Five and a half flat. Now the number here on the Steelers, 44.5 flat on the total is what it's mostly painted / consensus. Bases loaded. Top of the third with one out. Are they going to leave Castillo in here to deal with this? He's up to 48 pitches. And 5 of 6 have reached here in the third inning. The whole infield's in at the mound. They're talking to him. I guess he's going to stay in. Huge at bat coming up there for sure. It's 2-1. Nope, he's done. Going to the lefty, he's out. Castillo gets a golf clap ovation, but not much more than that. Maybe something's wrong with him. To want to come out of the game or to come out of the game at this point, surprising. Rogers going deep on the first play, and I think it's intercepted. 2 Bengals could have had it. One does have it. The safety got a return. He's trying to set up blocks. They're out past midfield to the Pittsburgh 44. On the first play after the touchdown, the Bengals have got a turnover. I'm not sure what he was seeing there. That was an arm punt, but on first down, there's really no need for it. Yeah, Metcalf, they took their shot on the man coverage one-on-one again. Yeah, they'll knock this return back. Try to look that safety off, but I mean, even then the corner could have made the play. The throw wasn't that good. Not Rodgers' best effort. East Carolina, Tulsa. East Carolina does get the ball first. Tulsa took it to begin the game. Opening line was 1654.5. It closed in that same ballpark. Total was also 56. East Carolina's up 10, 24 to 14. First half price there was 9.5 and 27.5. So not much of a shock. Second half price 7.5 flat, 28. There is 28.5 out there as well. Again, East Carolina gets it first. No opinion on the side. The total, I lean just a lean to the over. The fact that the game's been played at a pretty fast pace and there hasn't been a lot of turnovers, hasn't been any turnovers, and they still got the 38, tells me that there's still points to be had here. And especially the last couple of drives, nobody scored anything after the Tulsa touchdown came at 11:51, and East Carolina's at 9:33. Then you had a couple of fairly long drives there with nothing happening to before the end of the half. All right, Bengals have it at their own 24. 4:25 left to go before the half. And they also get a chance to double dip here. They get to start the second half, so let's see if they can run a good 4-minute offense. Brown through the middle, first down, nobody's touching him. Then there's a missed tackle. He's out past midfield to the Pittsburgh 38. This is like a 37-yard gain, and Brown's nearing like 80 yards rushing in the first half. Wow, that's great work. He just made. Then once he makes 25, miss. Porter wanted no part of trying to make a tackle once Chase was close. Yeah, Pittsburgh has been a little bit soft at times tonight. Okay, we're inside the 40 is what we say for the Bengals here. 3:38, clock moving, Flacco over the middle. This is going to be interference against Ramsey again for the second time in 2 pass plays. To Chase, he's interfered him. You can't be caught cheating there, 5. No cheating. Halftime price, Tulsa, East Carolina, again, 7.5, 28.5. I would go over any of the 28s. Flats are better, just small, something to sweat. Nothing more. If you're very disciplined, then you can pass. You can chart me as an over small at 28 flat or better. All right, here we go. Varsho at the plate. Spire the pitcher. 2-2. One down. Bases polluted with Toronto base runners. P. Ryan bangs his way through about 6. Oh, foul ball back off the mask. The ump got lit up pretty good here. Let's see if they show the replay. Give it some time. Jesus, catcher and batter. Unless he was like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. It's one of those where the pitch clock shouldn't matter. Give him about 30 extra seconds. Ball. Full count. Nowhere to put him. There's a Higgins catch at the 10:55. Touchdown. Bengals in. 2:52 to go before the half. Cincy 13-10, point pending. Totally different team. A quarterback that can make throws changes the entire dynamic. This coach for the Steelers is so mad. I had to play this MRF a couple weeks ago that he didn't have an offense then, and now he has the best offense. Oh. There's a reason they pay those guys a lot of money. They're really good at their jobs. If you could find a guy to get them the ball, forget about it. Extra point is good. 14-10 Bengals, 2:52 to go before halftime. Live price is going to be totally different now. The Bengals get at halftime. I don't believe this. I still think the game should be a pick now at the most. Since he has all the momentum and is playing better. I'm seeing Pittsburgh 2.5. I don't agree with it at all. You can take Bengals plus anything on the money line. It's a good bet. The +1 or +2 bets are actually a better bet math-wise, just based on how much time's left. Who the hell from Amazon thinks it's a good idea to show a commercial with someone opening up chips in the middle of an aisle in a store and eating them? Like, that's not going to encourage behavior that shouldn't be accomplished. I'm like at a loss for words for some of the sheer stupidity that happens in America these days. Like, how can all those people greenlight that? You don't think anybody stops it up? Maybe we should not let that go through, given the problem with theft in a lot of these grocery stores these days. Oh, I know. Pittsburgh laying 1.5. There is a 2 out there live. Total's pretty much 50.5 painted, which I'm okay with. I think the live price is going to probably come 24 in the second half, maybe 23.5. So the fact that the live price with 250 to go is probably someone favored to get at least a field goal, if not more. It makes sense. Toronto up 3-1 with 1 out. Clement up 2-2. Huge pitch here by Spire. Struck him out. Monster strikeout. Limiting the damage. I'm sure all parties would take this for Seattle if you just give them 1 run with the bases loaded and only 1 out with the mess that Castillo got himself in. Excited to be back tonight. First night since last Sunday. I have been working fairly tirelessly with my guy on the overlays. Before you guys know, all I can say is once I log off tonight, you'll see on my homepage on Twitch, which available where you're watching it, twitch.tv/Rex_buyers. You'll see the log off stream, the SWEATBOX, which is the official name of the stream. And like I said, pretty excited to have all the graphics and information listed there. I'll stick around maybe a little bit into the third quarter, but not much. Tomorrow's a long night. Saturday, Sunday are long weekends, and I still have work to do to get everything up to speed. But I'm really close. I'm very excited. I see sometimes there's 3 viewers or 5 viewers, and sometimes on the YouTube there's hardly anybody yet. And that's okay. I want to change that all around really quick, so I'm pretty excited about it. We'll get there. Kurt Signetti, 8 years, $11.6 million per year. I like that. You know, that keeps him until he's retirement age, basically. You know, why not? Just get it out of the way. If you raise him from, he was making $300,000 at Jimmy Madison 2 years ago, or $600,000, or whatever it was. And then he goes to making $3 million last year, and then $8 million at the end of last year, and now 11.5. Pittsburgh on the first play, the running back gets smashed and he fumbles, but they called him down. I don't know. Yeah, okay, he is down. Good call by the refs. I actually thought that ball was out when I saw it live. Good work. The officials have done a hell of a job tonight. I got to give them credit. I'm the first one to try to rag on the refs and say bad job and you suck and this, that, and the other. They've been great tonight. I need to make sure I tell Ed that. Two-minute warning. Bengals 14-10 over Pittsburgh. Live price coming here just shortly. Halftime adjustments, Tulsa, East Carolina, 24-14, 7 and 28. Flat, it's fairly comp. There's some 7.5 to dog 30s out there, dog 25s. Almost the same thing as the 7 flat. With the game sitting 10 like that. Toronto's lead is only 3-1 at the end of 2.5. Live price now, Jays minus 240. Give or take 250s out there. Come back $2, 210. Total 9.5 under or 9 over in Seattle. Toronto 3, Seattle 1, bottom 3. Castillo has been chased. Let's see if Scherzer can come back with the shutdown inning here. Anything worth sharing? Let's see. The baseball game I told you, Dodger 3-1 winner. The other baseball game, Scherzer out for the bottom of the third, just fires a 94 mile an hour heater on the outside corner with movement. Rivas has no much of a chance there. Scherzer threw 32 pitches in the first 2 innings. I'm guessing they'll let him go until his arm falls off tonight. I would say if you have any futures or if you're a neutral observer and you want the Dodgers to not win, then your best chance is Toronto. I mean, clearly they have the offense that doesn't strike out much, a more balanced offense, and they actually do. You know, the pitchers, like I said, there is enough depth there, and they have some bullpen guys. Clearly, they were the favorite in the series, and they had home field. You know, it wasn't an accident. But I think it's a tall task. Who wins this one, I think, is walking into a series that won't last very long unless the Dodgers, for whatever reason, come out cold or flat or whatever. 2-minute warning. Pittsburgh has it at their own 48, 1st and 10. They have all 3 of their timeouts. Bengals with just 1. banging up the middle for about 5. Pittsburgh play calling was a lot more aggressive when they were winning up 7 and 10 nothing, and now it seems like after the Rodgers interception on the last drive, it's almost like they want to be careful here. So it's third and what's the yardage? Neither team is really interested in stopping it just yet. They want to see what happens on this play. It's third and about 4. A minute to go, clock still moving. Gunn, back off to the left, dumps it complete. The back is the guy who catches it, Warren. It's a gain of 5, maybe 6, and a first down. There'll be a timeout for the Steelers now. 49 seconds to go, and they can now be comfortable running their offense, knowing that the Bengals aren't going to get it back and double bang them. 49 seconds left. They have it at the Bengals 39. No, 41, 40. And let's check the live prices here. Hang tight. Market's not quite up here. This is going to be a abbreviated timeout, so they may not have a market everywhere. I see Pittsburgh 2.5 and 51. I cannot disagree with that more. Even if if they're going to score here, Boswell to make a field goal is the huge favorite. I don't see the way that they're running their offense right now. They're just going to magically score a quick touchdown with only 2 timeouts left. Cincinnati's defense is playing much better than that. Made a lot of adjustments at this point. I'd be surprised with the Bengals getting the ball first in the second half. I just don't see it. I think Cincinnati should be the live favorite. Here we go. Gunn, back off to the left. Throw it to him. Game on the screen. He's tripped. Loses yardage. Does catch it. All right. Let's see what happens here. Not really much of a live price. It's down to 2 and 50. So slight adjustment to a couple places that did bother to deal it. 2nd and 13 at the 44. 43 seconds left. Rodgers has Gainwell again to the left. Trips to the right. Fires it left. That's Metcalf. And that's caught? Oh, in no way. It's either intercepted or it's down. That can't be the right call. Hang on. They just did. I agree. It's an interception. He took the ball from him. I mean, they took the ball from the sickest athlete in football. I don't know what the call is here. If it's a fumble, it's a steal. If it's a pick, he's out of bounds. I don't know. They're going to call it an interception. I don't know if it's an interception or not because he landed out of bounds. If it's a fumble, that's what Rodgers is saying. It can't be an interception. He's out of bounds. If it's a fumble, with a recovery, then that's allowed. He fell on top of the defender. I'll allow it. The other thing is the time. There was a lot of time that ran off. The ref was waving the clock after the completed pass. They're going to have to figure out a few things here. The Bengals have one timeout left, so they can play for points here if they want to, but they're going to have to figure out the clock situation too. Give me a minute. Let me listen to what the announcers say. That is a great play. That's a great play. That's one of the better receivers in football, and he just took the ball from him. And one of the strongest receivers in football, and he took the ball from him. Flacco in the gun. Chucks it out. I think that's a catch. That's to Chase again. First down, out near midfield. Yeah, this isn't even the same team. I don't know if that's a catch or not. I like the fact that the Bengal coach was confident in it. The refs have pitched a perfect game tonight, by the way. You know me, I'm always making fun of them. They've been great. They've gotten every call right, and if they haven't, they've gone to the replay and gotten it right before anybody else has screwed it up. I'm so convinced that Chase is such an elite receiver and gets paid as such that, like, I'd be surprised if he didn't catch it. You almost just give him the benefit of the doubt. He already had one where he blew it earlier. There's a catch, and he's dragging the other foot. That's a catch. That's a catch. I mean, that the grains off the field are showing it's a catch. Yeah, this is. I'm having a chat with one of my friends. And this is a. It's just not even the same team. I mean, that the defense is playing a lot harder with some confidence. They just needed to have the offense show them a little bit, and they have. And the Pittsburgh play calling I think's gotten pretty conservative here late in the half. But that Rodgers interception was bad. But you got to put the ball back in his hands and let him make some plays. I mean, you did everything you wanted to in the first quarter here, and really since that, there's not been much to it. I mean, yeah, I mean that Turner pick. Basically, he didn't even see the ball. It was just looking at Metcalf's eyes and then stole it from him. I mean, that is a top notch play, a grade A level play. Okay, so I'm going to assume this is a catch. The Bengals live price is not up right now, and that's just because it's about a 15 to 18 yard catch, and that will have a serious difference on what happens. The average points if the Bengals do not have this catch and it'll be second down back at their own 30 or whatever it was, then their average points on this drive, just based on where they're at in their timeout level, probably goes down to like 2. Whereas if that is a catch and they're out near midfield, it goes up much higher than 3, because all they really need, it's like closer to 4. All they really need is one more first down. That kicker has clearly range. I think against the Packers, he kicked the 67-yarder last week that got caught off before the halftime gun. So get him inside of like 60, and there's really no excuse for him not to make it as long as the weather. I don't think the weather's a factor tonight. So, yeah, this is a fascinating situation here. And again, the live price will vary by at least 2 points, and they're still at a commercial from what I see. It looks like the Bengals are favored at Chris on the live, but I think it should be higher. I mean, again, when they get the ball at half, if they could score before halftime here, they have a chance to go up either 7 or 10. They're going to call it incomplete. I don't agree with that. I thought he had it. His left foot dragged on the pellets. Oh, he juggles it. Okay. All right. I'll buy it. Ref's got it right again. Replay does. It's right. Chase with 2 catches overturned tonight. It's a catch. He's fighting for yardage. He does get out of bounds. Finally, first down Bengals, 30 seconds left. Uh-oh, late hit on Flacco at the 20-second mark. That's going to put the Bengals in field goal range for sure. This is interference. Okay, I was doing about 3 things there. I thought the way that they were yelling it happened after the play. Porter 24 against Higgins 5. Oh, man, I don't know there. Okay. So the back judge calls it, of course, because he got his jersey. I didn't see it from the first hammer angle. The back judge saw it from his, and that's where they showed it from. Good call. 37 for the Bengals, 20 seconds left, and a timeout. Flacco not his best work there. Out pattern the chase over his head. Incomplete. 16 seconds left. Toronto, Springer double, score run 4-1 Blue Jays. Spire 27 pitches. There is some Toronto support out there. What are they doing? So they never did bother to call timeout until they're going to kick a 47-yard field goal. Not the best work there by the Bengals with the clock. Didn't give themselves a chance to get more than 3. McPherson, this is, like I say, well within his range, given that he made a 67-yarder against Green Bay before the timeout that was called by the Packers to take it away last week. Right down the middle is where it's spotted. Snap, down, up, and he kicks it right down the middle. 17-10, the Bengals have scored the last 17 in this game, and they will take that 7-point lead to the locker room in front of a roaring and approving home crowd, white clad. They'll get the ball first to start the second half, up by 7. Halftime line coming very shortly. East Carolina rips off a touchdown from 51 yards. London Montgomery, 31-14, first points of the half against Tulsa. 13:09 left in that game. Bengals first time leading at half after trailing by 10 plus since 2013. All right. Halftime price is coming shortly. I'm expecting mostly Pittsburgh 4. Let's hang tight and see what happens here. Pittsburgh 4 is consensus. I think that that's probably right. These games are so close. I thought that the Pittsburgh 10 earlier was a joke. And Cincinnati plus 10 was a good bet live at the earlier score. Even at 9.5 and 8.5 were good bets. I would say that now at 17-10 Cincy with the ball first, with the game close at 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, anywhere in those ranges of where they varied all day. And there were big volume available at those numbers. Pittsburgh 4 in the second half. Dog money probably seems the most fair. I would lean the Bengals gun to my head at this number, but I would never think about taking it when you had a chance to take 8.5 for the game. Now they're laying, all of a sudden they're laying 3 on the live line, up by 7 in the second half. Price is Pittsburgh 4. 23 the total to me seems a little low with the favorite playing from behind like this, especially if the Bengals can go down and get points to start the half. Which, why wouldn't they, the way they played so far? Yeah, here go all the 23s are getting bet up. 23.5 on the total is not going to be over. If you can get a 23, go get it. God bless you. They'll all be gone soon. I'm working on my stream stuff tonight with the back end, and I'm going to make myself a pizza. I'm super looking forward to both things, to be honest with you. It's going to be a great night. Regardless of the results here. Sweating the rest of the baseball, sweating the rest of this NFL, and working on the back end stuff. I don't understand what Whitworth, what the thought process is about Whitworth being on the show for the Bengals. Like, let's not forget the Bengals made the Super Bowl, and Whitworth was the offensive lineman for the Rams, who beat them in the Super Bowl. Like, at what point does he get to just represent every team that he played for? Like, with Fitzpatrick, I guess I'll allow it because he was a quarterback for like 6 teams and never the number 1 for any of them for any year that there wasn't an injury to somebody. Right? Like, he never came into the season as number 1 for anybody, so it's okay. Whitworth was a starting player and a Pro Bowl caliber player for like many years in this league. But he went from Cincinnati to the Rams and beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. How does he get to be like a Bengal fan on these broadcasts? I don't understand how these things work. I don't see any chats. I don't guess anybody wants to talk to me about anything tonight, which is all good. It's still a very small crowd. No biggie. I'm looking forward to getting everything ramped up. If not this weekend, then certainly next. But we're getting close, and I'm excited about all that. Baseball game 5-1, bottom of the 4th. Toronto leads it in Seattle. Live price $8, comeback $6, give or take. $8.50, $5.75, depending on the places you're looking at. And total is about 10.5 flat, which again would jibe pretty good with what happened last night with all the runs, and the visiting teams have been scoring a bunch of runs. A lot of the 4s are going away. They're starting to be Pittsburgh 3.5 out there. That's a big move, given the fact that the Bengals are up by 7. But they do get the ball first, and they've been the better team. I actually think 3 was a better line than 4. But again, they've been favoring the Steelers for the whole game based on the live markets and what we saw early. Now, again, it's one thing to do that when the Steelers were the better team, and they were for the first few drives. And, if you saw me mute you guys about 10 minutes into the stream, one of my friends from back home was a diehard Bengals fan, and he's crying and yelling and screaming. And I told him, I said, listen, sir, you can yell and scream and cry tonight, but I'm letting you know I won't answer the phone the next time in this spot because I'll be busy with the work, and you can listen to it, and I'll explain to you why the Bengals will get back in this thing, which I was trying to do. But yeah, that's basically what's happened. I mean, the first drive was bad, but the adjustments have been made. And I think that Cincinnati has been the better football team for a good part of this game, and especially since they've settled in, and the fact that they get the ball first to start the half, there's a chance to really do some damage and put their foot on Pittsburgh's throat here. It's a huge, huge situation, a huge setup. It's a big chance to really, put your imprint on the game. And, as bad as things have gone this year, they win this game. They got 3 wins, and the Steelers only have 4. I mean, hell, the Ravens only got 1. I mean, they're right back in the division race. As crazy as it sounds, given how bad they played for the last month. Line is 3.5. There is some 3.5 lay money. There's some 4 dog a bunch. Anybody that had 4 got hammered on the dog. It's plus money everywhere on Pittsburgh -4 at this point. So anybody that took Cincinnati +4 had to lay 110. That was all sharp. That took it out for sure. It's like -120 or 125 or 130 on the +4 now. Much worse prices in the 3 market. 3.5 number again still out there. But yeah, that 4 to 3.5 with the game sitting on 7 Cincinnati, that means you're basically taking the game between Bengals winning between 3 and 3.5. So that half point is a big deal, especially with the Bengals getting the ball to start the second half and the way the line came to begin with. The 3.5 to 3 would not be worth nearly as much as the 3.5 to 4, just based on the game sitting on 7 Cincinnati, if that makes sense. Not very often where you have the dog. Well, I shouldn't say that. It happens. But the dog up by 7 when they were catching 4 or 5 pregame, and now the halftime line wants to make the dog win by 3 outright when they're up by 7. So it's 4. But that 3 outright has to be aggressively moved one way or the other based on the pregame number being 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. So if you use 3.5, you have to use if 4 even money is the right line on a man-to-man swap, then 3.5 has to be minus like 27 cents, maybe 29 cents, and 4.5 has to be the dog 29 cents, like 18, 19 cents, give or take, like each way on that. And it's getting bet down from 4, not up from 4. So if it's 3.5 flat, so if the 3.5 number is the right price each way, which means the game's 3.5 instead of Cincy 4, then it would be, instead of Cincy 3, and the Cincy 3 price would be like the dog 24 to 26, and that's why you've got this price in the second half. So just trying to explain to you as best I can as someone who's done this for a long time what the maths work and why the people are looking at what they are to make these numbers what they are. The 3.5 to 4 conversion rate with the game sitting 23.5. I'm sorry, with the game sitting 17-10 Cincinnati up by 7. At halftime as a 4, 4.5, 5-point dog. That adds up quite well, and the math's behind it. Pinnacle went to 3.5 minus 23, so a big move on the Steelers there. 3.5 lay 14 to Paradise. That'll cause the 4s plus a bunch to go away. Chris also 3.5 minus 26, so -4 plus 08 or plus 110 will go to like plus 05, plus 03 even money. If the other markets were to follow what Pinnacle's doing in the 3.5 pool. It just, the math has to add up, and as long as Pinnacle's taking a big chunk there, then that's what will happen. The market will revert back to Pittsburgh money here in the last 2 minutes before the second half starts. Again, I don't really have much of an opinion at this price. I like Cincinnati live at 8.5 all the way up to 10. 2 different times earlier in the game, first quarter type stuff, into the first quarter. Not much in it math-wise or value-wise here. Gun to my head, I would only have the Bengals at this point. Naylor base hit again. That's the second of the night for Seattle. 5-1, 2 out. He's on first. Bottom of the fourth. 5-1 Toronto. Buckeyes 3.5 flat. All the other fours are dog a quarter. Pinnacle still 3.5 minus a ton. 23 now. Bellline 3.5 minus 20. Chris is for the dog 20. They are 24 under 12. They're the highest total. Everybody else is 23.5 over a bunch. 24 to 23.5 conversion here is worth probably, let's see, it's sitting 27, 23.5 to 24. Probably in this halftime situation is probably worth about 15 cents, maybe 16 cents. So 24 flat would be equal to like 23.5 over 26. I will say that my math could be pennies off of what it used to be. My dealings with my old boss Robbie in Costa Rica, he taught me a long time ago about what the values of these things were, but those values have changed. You know, we're all older, and the times have moved, and the value of points and the numbers falling, and the 2-point conversions and the extra points being kicked from further back. That's changed a lot of things and a lot of rules, and how we look at and what the points are worth in the NFL these days, buying and selling, especially pregame. And it also works at halftime and in the live markets, more so in pregame and at halftime. Kickoff's coming. Pittsburgh will kick to the Bengals again. Final price. Pittsburgh $4 quarter, 3.5 minus a bunch. Total 24. Flat 23.5 over money. There was a 23 earlier at the very start of the half, which I recommended over. Scherzer's out of the fourth. Live price after that shutdown inning by him. Toronto's laying like $14. Come back 8.50. 16 975. Total is 10 flat. Toronto 5, Seattle 1 into 4. Actually like over 10. Had a good juice. Now that the bullpens are about to be involved for everybody. Let's see. Yeah, they've already kicked off in the second half. The Bengals got it. I didn't see what happened, if anything. They'll start from their own 32. Quick pass at the outside. Chase, he almost made the first guy miss. Not quite. Give him 5. Clock moving. It's kind of weird. These Bengals receivers actually look happy. Not an accident. I guess Jake Browning's not clearly as good of a backup as we anticipated he was, or how he played like a couple years ago after the Burrow injury. With all that said, I think I've had it for the night. Not a big crowd, and that's okay. And I won't keep you. I'm looking forward to trying to get some other things taken care of. It's a big weekend. Lots happening soon. Look forward to catching you guys on the other side. Be well. Take care. God bless. And I'll make sure the schedule's up too. And I'm excited about that as well. And I'll start firing scheduling here once I figure out the work that has to be done on the back end. So that way you guys will know when to look for me going forward. It'll be pretty exciting on all accounts. With that, that's it. Enjoy. Bengals 17-10 over Pittsburgh on Amazon Prime Television. You've got Tulsa and East Carolina on ESPN. That game's in the third quarter, 31-14 ECU. And you've got Toronto and Seattle in the baseball. Top 5, 5-1 Blue Jays. That game is on FS1 in the States, SN if you're in Canada. Be well. Take care. I'll be back tomorrow night. The first football game goes at 7 Eastern, Louisville and Miami. The late game, the Belichicks are in California at 10:30. Be fun times. I'm going to hang around for both of those, in addition to Nebraska, Minnesota, and San Jose State, Utah State on Big Fox and CBS College Sports. So 4 college games tomorrow. The Dodgers-Milwaukee game in the baseball. So be exciting times. Be around starting tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and we'll hang out through midnight Eastern or so whenever California and North Carolina's game gets out of the half. Take care. Be well. God bless. Good luck. Talk soon.